In a recent video, I showed the terminator lines that we supposedly see from satellites that are cast upon the Earth at different times during the year. And I compared that to the date and timelines that we also are shown on the Earth. Hey everybody, Rich, Mr. Thrive and Survive. It is December 26, 2015. This is going to be a fairly quick video describing these terminator lines and some comments I have to say about it. So what I've done is I've gone to Google Earth. This is what everybody wants to believe. So what I did was I took the date and time that you just saw with the sunrise portion, and what I did was I drew a line from where the Terminator started, the Terminator line. I'm using the darkest Terminator line, so there's no question at all. Total sunrise versus total sunset. So anyway, I don't have any good points out in the ocean, so I have to connect to the nearest points on land. Just realize that what I'm showing here would be even worse if I had points in the South Atlantic here that I could connect to. This would be bowed out much more. My point is that the Terminator lines, on the Earth, look at this. We start with South America, this little area that humps out here, and then we connect to Africa here, this part of the continent where it curves up. This is the Terminator line as we see in Africa. The ocean is actually out here somewhere, but since there's no landmark, I can't connect it. And I go up here, connect it to where it goes through with the Mediterranean Sea, cuts across the island here and into Italy, into Europe, goes up here, and then once we get up this far, we start to turn abruptly to the east. So if anyone can look at this and tell me that this is a straight Terminator line, you either need a serious optometry appointment, or more than that, you didn't get enough, I guess, discipline when you were growing up. I've actually finally determined what I can't stand more than anything else. Trolls and shills are one thing, but it's the intellectually dishonest. These are the things I hate. What it is you're a liar. When you say, well, you take the shadow from a Mercator projection, and if you were to put it on the globe, it would be a straight Terminator line. You're either stupid. I mean, and maybe I'm overestimating the intelligence of people. Maybe that's the problem, but I don't think so. Because anybody can look at a map. Anybody could look at this right here and say, you know what? Even if I were to put that on a globe, it's not a straight line. It wouldn't be a straight Terminator line, which we're seeing from a supposed satellite picture. So here we go. Here we're back on Google Earth, and if that looks like a straight line to you, a straight Terminator line, all right, you're just being a liar, an intellectual liar, or you're not intellectual enough to be able to mentally connect the line in your brain and connect it and put it onto a globe. And I can't believe that anybody is really that stupid, but maybe they are. I just think you're a liar. So I have much more respect for somebody who believes in the globe and looks at this and says, you know what, Rich, you're right. The Terminator line we see from satellite pictures is a straight line always across the Earth. There's never any bend or turn in it. So why, when we get the actual sunrise and sunset data and plot it, it's this messed up kind of line. It's not straight, which means the sun is much closer. And when you plot it out that way, that's when you can get a Terminator line that's different. And when you can get different altitudes of the sun above the Earth, that's when you can get something like this. But even if you don't want to believe the Earth is flat or that the sun is close and revolves around the Earth, at least you could intellectually be honest and say, I don't understand. Something is wrong with my understanding. Because we definitely never do see a curved or squiggly Terminator line from space satellites. We see a straight line. But here, when it's on Google Earth right in front of my eyes, and it matches what date and time is. You know, date and time can't lie, because these people can look at it and say, yep, sunrise is exactly when they said it is, and sunset is exactly when they said it is. So again, you're either a liar, which I hate liars, or you're just, you know, you're not intellectually smart enough to be here. Because if you think this matches the Terminator line, the straight up and down Terminator line that we see from satellites on the Earth any time of year, then again, you're a liar, stupid, or both. Okay, now that we've eliminated the either the brain dead or the intellectual liars, and by the way, what happens to one side of the Earth has to happen to the other if it's a round spinning ball, and we're going to see that here, hopefully. And by the way, for those of you who say, well, this is because the Earth wobbles on its axis. It wobbles on its axis about 1 degree every 50,000 years, folks, according to your science. Please, please, before you suggest something, look it up. So why am I so into people getting this? Because when you get this, you realize that the sun, being something that the Earth goes around once a year, is a lie. It has to be the sun going around the Earth, because you're going to see it right here, and you're going to see that the sun has to be at different altitude when you really think it through. Here was what started this whole thing. The first 16 days in December, sunrise in Baltimore went from 7:07 on December 1st to 7:20 on the 16th. It gained 13 minutes. Every 4 minutes on the Earth equals 1 degree of shadow advancement. Okay? That's the math behind it. Every 4 minutes equals 1 degree of shadow advancing on the Earth. Now, sunset at the exact same time from December 1st to December 16th in Baltimore, Maryland, advanced 0 minutes. And there was a time in there it went backwards 1 minute. It went from 4:44 to 4:43 back to 4:44. So not only in 16 days do we have no advancement on that side of the Earth of the shadow, which you're going to see in a minute, but it even went back 1/4 of a degree at one point and then advanced again. Now when you see, I've got to do a little bit of cheating because you can't see both terminator lines on a round spinning ball at the same time unless you had a unique vantage point. But I think I'll make the point and you'll really get this. Anybody who wants to say that we are going around the Earth, and you can't explain this by a 3% difference when we accelerate in the summer or in the winter and we're a little bit closer. You know, the difference between a perfect circle and the elliptical orbit that the Earth is supposedly on is so minor that it's 3% over an entire year. And we're seeing much more than a 3% change in the sunrise alone here in 16 days in December. So, let's see exactly why this is so important to get and to be able to pass on. Because you can no longer believe in a globe spinning around the sun anything after you get this. Now this is downright cool. Get somebody to explain this one to you. Here we have the Earth spinning. From our perspective, the sun is to our back. Like I said, I'm going to have to cheat a little bit because you can usually not see the terminator line from a round spinning ball from any one perspective, but we're going to do that here. Let's add the terminator line on the left and on the right, and you can see them coming in now. And so those that are on the left side of the Earth at the terminator line coming in, those are experiencing sunrise. They've just come out of let's say 12 hours of darkness, and they're getting ready to come into 12 hours of light. Now on the right side is the terminator line for sunset. Okay, as soon as they hit that line, it's sunset anywhere on that darkened line on the right point. All right, does that make sense? All right, we're cheating a little bit because you normally can't see these lines, but hopefully this is going to make sense and just blow you away when you get what's happening. Now, Baltimore, Maryland is approximately, well, it's rather up top here on the list. It doesn't really matter. We can pick any place, but since we use Baltimore, Maryland, it's roughly along this line right here. Now, here is what the data told us. The data told us that in 16 days, sunset for Baltimore pretty much stayed the same. We did have 1 minute that went actually backwards, but we started at 4:44 sunset and we ended at 4:44 sunset from the 1st to the 16th. No problem. So that terminator line, it happened the same. It didn't change, did it, on the sunset side. However, during the same period of time, the sunrise side, this side on the left here, it advanced 13 minutes or 3.25 degrees. In other words, I'm really drawing it out of, I'm really making this exaggerated here. But this is what happened. The left side shadow grew on the Earth while the right side did not. How in the heck is that possible? With the sun 93 million miles away. And if you affect one side of the Earth, you have to affect the other. So what happened is we had sunrise advance on sunset. The shadow advanced on the other one. Please tell me how that's possible. Please. And if you can't tell me it's possible, then it is impossible that we are on an Earth going around a sun. Okay, and if you want to take, we had our 3% change going from sunrise to sunset, or going around the Earth in 365 days. I'm sorry, that would affect both halves of the terminator line, not one. We have other times when the other terminator line moves, but the one on the right, but the one on the left doesn't move. Do you get it now? This is why this is so important. The terminator line on the left advanced 3.5 degrees at the line of Baltimore. Some other places it advanced a little more, some other a little less. Meanwhile, the right side didn't do a thing. Please tell me how that's possible in the science model. It is not possible, guys. This is an absolute proof. Now, it is possible if the sun is going around the Earth. And the higher the sun is in the sky, the more time you can see it during the day. So what's happening is, since one is advancing and one is not, then the sun has to be changing altitude during the sunrise portion so that you can actually see it 4.5 degrees different in a 15-day period. But not on the other side. You can't explain this at 93 million miles away and an Earth spinning. I hope you got this. This is very important. This is an absolute proof. Unless you can show how it can advance on one side and not the other. And this whole thing about if you shine a flashlight on it, it'll be a different bell curve on one side and the other. I don't care if it is a different bell curve. I don't even know how you could produce that. But you would still have the terminator line has to be the same. It can't advance on one half of the sky and not the other, one half of the Earth and not the other. How in the heck is that possible? I'll be waiting for the answer. Thanks, guys. You just saw an absolute proof that just blows away the heliocentric model. Take care.